Yes, indeed. B Marsh Boxing was fight fans around the world. Back at it with another historical account. This time we back at it, man. It's been a while, and I apologize, man. It's been a minute. I've been slacking, man. I've been slipping on my pimping, but I'm back at it, man. I got time today, baby. Back at it with my top five dead or alive rendition series. You can check it out on my playlist. Top five dead or alive. This is where I give you the top five greatest fighters in every single division, from top to bottom, heavyweight to minimum weight or strawweight, however you call it. You check it. B Marsh Boxing back at it live and direct. You heard? So man, we starting off, man, with the super middleweights. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna have to go with number five. I gotta go with none other than Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer out of England, United Kingdom. I think he's from West Ham, London. You know what I mean? Great fighter. Got to put him as one of the best super middleweights of all time. You know what I'm saying? This guy had you know, as far as super middleweight, man, he got a win over Gerald McKellen. You know what I mean? Just straight up and down, he got a win off Gerald McKellen. You know, he also has a draw versus what's the guy's name? He has a draw versus Chris Eubank Jr. You know what I mean? A fight that I thought Nigel Benn won. You know what I'm saying? I thought Nigel Benn redeemed himself after um, taking that loss, getting stopped in the ninth round in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta give it up to the man, Nigel Benn, man, straight up and down as a top five of all time. You know, he had numerous title defenses. He beat the Italian dude Mauro Galvano for the WBC super middleweight title. You know, he beat Mauro Galvano at least twice. You know, got the win over Gerald McKellen. You know, Gerald McKellen was a guy nobody wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Gerald McKellen was a dangerous dude. Dude who was shattering and breaking fellas' rib cages. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people wanted to get in the ring with the man, Gerald McKellen. You check it. But you got to give the man, we got to give this guy props for real, because Nigel Benn, you know, what he did to the man Gerald McKellen, nobody saw that coming. You know what I mean? Nobody saw that coming. You check it. It's actually a scary fight in my opinion. You know, it's not a fight I revisit often. You check it, but it's a fight where I thought, you know, to man Nigel Benn came out on top, and at the end of the day, he had to get the victory, even if it comes at the, you know, at the fate of the man Gerald McKellen becoming a paraplegic, had to be eating out of a straw, is blind, doesn't have the motor skills that he had before. So I gotta give it up to the man Nigel Benn as the top five. You know what I mean? You check it, top five. I put him at number five of all time. You know what I'm saying? I think he should have got that W. He should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, all those fighters, you know what I mean? Guys like Nigel Benn, you know, none of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Chris Eubank, Steve Collins, none of these guys are in the Hall of Fame. And in my opinion, that's not right. You know what I mean? I think these guys, you know, they put it on for the super middleweight division out there in Europe. You know what I mean? In England, you know, I think the reason why these guys are not in the Hall of Fame, Nigel Benn and Eubank, I think they'll eventually get there. It's because they didn't fight the Americans. They ain't fight James Tonys and the Roy Jones. You know what I mean? DJC in the chat, what's going on, man? He says, I better hear Lights Out Tony, man. I hope you stay for the whole video, man. We'll see if your wish will be granted, you know what I mean? But in the meantime, in between time, got to give it up to number four right here, man. Number four, I'm going to have to give it to the man Steve Collins. You know what I'm saying? Steve Collins was a good fighter. You know, a fighter who fought a lot of good fighters, man. Fought guys like Reggie Johnson, Sambu Kalambe. You know what I'm saying? But he beat guys like Nigel Benn twice, and he beat Chris Eubank twice. You know what I mean? That's why I'm putting him ahead of the man Nigel Benn. You check it? Because he beat him twice. You know what I mean? He actually beat Nigel Benn more convincingly than he did Chris Eubank Jr. You know what I mean? So Chris Eubank Jr. I guess holds a feather in his cap for that one. You know what I'm saying? But you know, overall, as far as resumes, Nigel Benn, Chris Collins, I'm sorry, Steve Collins, and Chris Eubank Jr. I'm sorry, Chris Eubank Sr. I think Nigel Benn has a better resume. You know what I mean? Fighting guys like Reggie Johnson and Sambu Kalambe and Mike McCallum. Come on, man. Come on now, you gotta give this man props. This was when he was based in the United States, and that's one thing. At one point in time, all three of those guys, Nigel Ben, Chris Eubank, and Steve Collins, were based in the United States. You know what I mean? You check it. You know those fights he had with Chris Eubank, split decisions. You check it, a split decision and a unanimous decision. Those were good victories for the man. You know what I mean? The man did duck Joe Calzaghe. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Not Chris Collins. But out of all of those guys I mentioned, Nigel Ben, Chris Collins, and Eubank Sr., he's the only one who wanted to fight Roy Jones. You know what I mean? He's the only one who wanted to step in the ring with Roy Jones. So I gotta give Steve Collins as the fourth um, super middleweight of all time. And just off the fact of beating guys like Nigel Ben twice and Eubank Sr. twice, I gotta give it up, man. You know what I mean? Number three, I gotta go with none other than Carl Froch. Carl the Cobra Froch. You know what I mean? He ain't the Lone Star Cobra like Donald Curry, but he's a Nottingham Cobra. You know what I'm saying? Don't get Cobra. You know what I mean? Ask Jermaine Taylor about getting Cobra. Ask um what's that guy's name? Not Jermaine Taylor. What's the other guy he cobraed? Lucien Butte. You know what I mean? In that fifth round, ask him about those mishaps. You know what I mean? Brought on to him by Carl the Cobra Froch. You know what I mean? Carl Froch got a good record as far as being a champion. You know what I'm saying? In the super middleweight division, 10 wins, 2 losses, 5 KOs in the championship bouts. You know what I mean? And he's 10-2 with 6 KOs against former or current world champions. You know what I'm saying? You check it, the man beat guys like Robin Reed, former champion at 168. You know what I'm saying? He beat Jean Pascal, Jermaine Taylor, Arthur Abraham, Glenn Johnson, Mikkel Kessler. Even though he had lost to Kessler, he avenged that loss. You know what I mean? Beat George Groves in the controversial fight the first time, but he avenged it in front of 80,000 people over there in Wembley Stadium. You know what I mean? What you call it? What you call it though? What you call it? They ain't fight him though. Joe Calzaghe ducked the guy still. You know what I mean? I thought that was foul. You check it. The man ducked him. Um, basically how Steve Collins ducked Calzaghe. Calzaghe did the same thing to Carl Froch. You know what I mean? He ain't give him an opportunity to fight for that IBF title. But at the end of the day, Joe Calzaghe came to the United States to challenge himself against the American, not just American, boxing legends in general, B Hop and Roy Jones. You know what I mean? Then he just rode off into the sunset. You know what I'm saying? But Carl Froch got to give it up to him, man. You know, he's definitely, to me, in my opinion, the third greatest super middleweight of all time. You know what I mean? The guy's resume is stellar, man. He probably has the best resume as far as names. You know what I mean? Really and truly. Check it. It's just that the man has a couple losses, but there ain't no shame in his game. It's boxing. You know, people get losses. You know, even Muhammad Ali got some losses. Came back to avenge them losses a few times, especially for the world title. You know what I mean? You check it. Who do I have at number two? Since we've done number three, Carl Froch, I gotta give it up. I gotta give it up to the man from Wales. You know what I'm saying? The pride of Wales, the Italian Dragon, 46-0, 32 KOs. Joe Calzaghe. Come on, man. Joe Calzaghe, man. This man got the most title defenses in super middleweight history. This man has held every single belt at 168 pounds. You know what I mean? His WBO title, he first beat Chris Eubank Sr. for it when the title was left vacant from the man Steve Collins. You know what I mean? You check it. He beat Robin Reed in a split decision, controversial decision. You check it. Um, he beat, what's that American dude? What's that dude from? Where is he from? Was he Mississippi or Florida? What's that dude? Left hook. What's that dude's name, man? Remind me. Jeff Lacey. Jeff Left Hook Lacey. That's a unification. He got an IBF belt off of Jeff Lacey. Beat the shit out of him. and dropped him in the 12th round. You know what I mean? He fought Sakio Bika, a tough, rough and rugged customer, former world champion at 168 pounds. Sakio Bika, you know what I mean? You check it, the man got himself a WBA, and WBC title when he unified with the man what's that guy's name? Mikhail Kessler. You know what I'm saying? You check it, and he brought his IBF belt to the table. Kessler had a WBA and WBC. The man became basically undisputed right there. You know what I mean? He never held all four titles simultaneously. You check it, but he did have them three titles, and he's held an IBF belt before when he beat Jeff Lacey. So we gotta give it up to Joe Calzaghe, man. Great fighter. You know, that fight versus B Hop was controversial. Against Robin Reed was controversial in his career. Sven Oki never unified with the guy. He ducked Joe Calzaghe all those years. Joe Calzaghe wasn't going to Germany. And Sven Oki, who also retired undefeated, he wasn't coming over there to coming to England or Wales or wherever. So that fight never happened. But at the end of the day, Joe Calzaghe is he's already in the Hall of Fame, and Sven Oki, he's not. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I gotta give it up to number two. Great super middleweight of all time. You know what I mean? The man, like I said, has held every single belt there is possible. You know what I'm saying? The lineal and the Ring Magazine title in two divisions, light heavyweight and at super middleweight. Wasn't the lineal champion at light heavyweight? You know what I mean? When he beat, you check it, but when he beat B Hop, but as far as super middleweight, man, he was that dude. I mean, the man retired undefeated. What else you want from the guy? You know what I mean? What else you want from Joe Calzaghe? You know, he came in and fought B Hop, and dude, Roy Jones, yeah, they were past their prime, but hey, that ain't his fault. And number one, first and final, the final one, I give it up to this guy right here. They call SOG, Son of God, none other than Andre Ward. You know what I mean? Great fighter, man. Great fighter, Andre Ward was. Got an American Gem, 32 and those 16 KOs. Andre Ward never lost a fight, man. Although, you know, I do think he has one controversial fight, and it was possibly a loss. You know what I mean? When I first watched the fight, I thought he lost the fight. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And I know Andre Ward thought he lost that fight too, and that was the first fight versus Kovalev. But that's a light heavyweight, and we're not gonna get into that. We're talking about his super middleweight reign, which is also spectacular, you know what I mean? Great amateur, of course, the last American man to get a gold medal. Damn, that was a long damn time ago, too, 2004. But we talking about this guy who was a unified super middleweight champion, WBA and WBC, Ring Magazine and lineal champion, 2011 to 2015. You know, got to give it up to none other than SOG, you know what I'm saying? SOG beat a who's who in the division, especially in that super middleweight tournament. You know, Carl Froch is still haunted by L that he got from the man Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? You know, Andre Ward beat guys like even beat Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson came down to 168. I don't know why nobody asked him to do it. He volunteered and he got that ass taxed. You know what I mean? Carl Froch, he got him on the resume. Arthur Abraham, very a formidable opponent at super middleweight, a former middleweight champion himself, long reigning, numerous title defenses at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a 2 or 3 time champion at super middleweight. Arthur Abrams a good fighter. Sakio Bika, another former WBC super middleweight champion. The man, Andre Ward got him on the resume. Alan Green. Alan Green is Alan Green. Mikhail Kessler, you know what I'm saying? A guy who held 2 titles, was a unified champion over there at super middleweight. You know what I mean? Now, overall, I'll probably say in the division's history, I think Carl Froch has the best resume at super middleweight. You know what I mean? The names he beat, I think he has the best resume. But I got to give Andre Ward as the best super middleweight of all time because he beat the man. You know what I'm saying? He beat the man, Carl Froch. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't I give it to him? You know what I mean? You check it, you know, this guy Andre Ward was a very good fighter, man. So I gotta give it up to him, you know what I mean? A guy who hasn't lost a fight since he was like 13 years old, you know what I mean? DJ Caesar that says, I'll stay, brother, enjoying this. Appreciate that, man. Says Lacey. Yes, indeed, Jeff Lacey. DGC says, yeah, Andre made some guys look poor with how comfortably he'd win. Exactly. You know, took guys to school, man. Took guys to boxing school. You know, him and Virgil Hunter were a perfect marriage. You know what I mean? Virgil Hunter has not never really replicated the same kind of success with any other fighter he's had. But SOG, man, they went all the way to the top. You know what I'm saying? All the way to the top. You check it. So that's my top five dead or alive, man. You know, some may ask. I'm sure you're probably asking, DJC, where's James Tony? Where's Roy Jones? You know what I'm saying? Where are these guys? You know what I mean? Well, you know, really and truly, James Tony, Andre Ward, these type of guys are actually like the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? At that division, you check it as far as skill set. You know what I mean? As far as skills, oh man, you can't go wrong with the man Roy Jones and James Tony. You know what I'm saying? But these guys ain't stick around at them divisions too long. You know what I mean? They ain't stick around in them divisions too long. You check it. So at the end of the day, I gotta give it to guys who are long stays in the division. You know what I mean? I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., an honorable mention. Some may be upset that I don't have him in the top of all time. You know what I mean? He has the second most title defenses in super middleweight history, second behind what's his name, Joe Calzaghe. You know, but you know, in my opinion, man, he doesn't have that many great names over there on his super middleweight resume. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't. You know, he got Nigel Benn, but I thought he lost that fight. That should be a loss on his resume. You know what I mean? You check it. He defended his belt against fought Tulani Mulinga, a guy who beat and he got a split decision. A guy who beat what's his name? Um, uh, Nigel Ben, you know what I'm saying? You know, got the Lindell Holmes, you know, but a lot of those guys on his resume are guys I've never heard of, really. You know what I mean? Gotta give it up. He beat Michael Watson for the super middleweight title. That was a good win for him, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, he beat Graciano Rossi. That's a good win. But none of those wins can top Gerald McKellen. They can't, and they can't even top Steve Collins, who beat Chris Eubanks twice. You know what I mean? That's why he's on the outside looking in, and I'll give Eubanks Senior number six of all time. Number six of all time. You know what I mean? You check it. But a guy like James Tony, man, he beat Iran Barkley. Very good win. That's a great win to get that IBF super middleweight title. But then he defended against some guys I've never heard of, man. So a lot of guys out there. Tony Thornton, that's a guy that also Chris Eubank fought. But he's not a known guy like that. Tim Littles, you know, he beat Prince Charles Williams. He knocked him out. You know what I mean? Great fight. But Prince Charles Williams was a better fighter at 175. You know what I mean? He was drained at 168. You know, then Roy Jones beat him at 168. You know what I'm saying? So those names are not better than what we've seen from guys like Froch. You know what I'm saying? And Calzaghe. You know what I mean? And then for the man Roy Jones, who'd he beat at 168? Vinny Paz. That was a bullshit win, bullshit fight. You know what I'm saying? Vinny Paz was a career lightweight. You know what I mean? You check it. He beat a cop. I remember he fought some cop. You know what I'm saying? That guy was a full-time cop. He beat Eric Lucas. Okay, the white dude from Canada went on to become a champion later on, 168. I give him credit for that, but that dude ain't no world beater. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't have Roy Jones as a top five super middleweight of all time. Although his skill set, him and James Toney's skill sets, no question, man. I'd put them against Andre Ward, Carl Froch, Calzaghe, prompt for prompt. I'm picking James Toney and Roy Jones to beat those guys. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's my video, man. Thanks for everybody coming through. Big ups to the man DJ C. He says Tony couldn't help but be fat. Yeah, man. James Toney was the kind of guy who could fight at 160, have some in between title fights while he's a champion at 160 or at 168, and he'd come in at 168. I remember he'd come into fights when he's weighing like about 180, 185. You know what I'm saying? So, and these were non-title fights, you know, just some fights in between fights. But nah, I can't put James Toney and Roy Jones up there over guys like Calzaghe and Froch and Andre Ward and Steve Collins and Nigel Benn. So be March Boxing. That's my video. Thanks for everybody coming through. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. If you agree with me, hit that thumbs up. If you disagree with me, hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs down. Do what you do, man. But if just leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section and give me your top five, dead or alive, of all time in the super middleweight division in the comment section. All right. If you're new to the channel, hit that thumbs up and please share and subscribe. And I'm gone. Peace.